that. I stand on every word I say. It like you, man. You want something different, then you got to do something different. If you want a better life, you got to make some sacrifices. Like, you can't be partially in it. I'm not saying that's what you were doing. I was, me going where I was going during that time was actually, it was so moved off of you that I was actually trying to, hopefully, by the grace of God, get the listeners to understand. And, being an entrepreneur is not for everybody. It's not. Being, ready to take your life to the next level is not. Some people are just really happy 9 to 5 with it. Some people is really happy, crossing the dots and crossing your T's and dotting your I's in their relationships with, whether it be with their spouses, whether it be with their kids, whether it be with, whomever. They're just happy to go through the motions.
Welcome to the Love Is Podcast with your host, that thorny chick, Karen KK Rose, and her co-host, the lovable a-hole, that's right, I said lovable, Mr. DK Walker, where they will be discussing love, relationships, family, life, sex, self-help, and what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. Why? Because love is everything, and everything should be loved. Now to today's podcast.
Hello, everyone. It's your girl, it's that thorny chick, Karen KK Rose, alongside my co-host, the lovable asshole, DK Walker. DK, tell the people hello.
Man, what's going on, people? How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Before we get into the shits, I want to say farewell to a good friend of mine. It hurts my heart that this friend is no longer with us, but life goes on. People move on, and all good things never last, in the words of the great one, Prince Rogers Nelson. So this friend I'm saying goodbye to, and most of America is saying goodbye to, is my friend Summer. Summer left abruptly without, saying, time well spent. Summer got on its bike and got the fuck out of Dodge. Hello, fall. What? Ain't nobody go outside lately? Like, I promise you go outside in the morning time, it's 50-something degrees. You're like, well, hold up, what the? Like, somebody ain't gonna at least, like, linger just a little bit more? But the beautiful thing about, Summer making a speedy exit is gonna take 2020 monkey ass with it. So, yeah, Summer can go in about his business. Fall can run behind Summer. And then winter could, like a relay. That's what I want the seasons do. And God, forgive me, God, right? Because you should never rest God time. But being as though we have a loving and understanding Father, he probably like, you know what? I'm going to help y'all out. The time going to tick like it regularly tick. I'm going to push it along because this year has been rough on everybody.
Everybody. Facts on
everybody.
Everybody in the club was doing something. I don't think some of us were tipsy. Some of us definitely were tipsy to get through.
Hey, what happened? Who was that chick? That wasn't Chingy. That was Alabama. Jay somebody?
No, everybody in the club getting tipsy. I think it's Chingy.
Don't say that. It's not Chingy.
What's his name? Jay
whomever. Whatever. See, that's
Jay Millionaire or something like that. I don't know.
Jay who?
Millionaire, Cash Millionaire.
No, that was stop. How you going to insult Chameleonaire?
Chameleonaire, there you go. Oh, listen, I knew it was one of them.
It's not Chameleonaire.
Listen, Southeast DC, you ain't got to get that tone.
Because you insulting the great MC with a one-hit wonder. Have you lost your mind? Chameleonaire's rolling around in his grave right now. Talking about what?
He's not dead.
But still, mentally or emotionally, something died when you said that bullshit. Like, what the heck?
Listen, he better be happy. Listen, he better be happy. Somebody trying to give him an extra song. The hell?
No, man, Chameleon, you okay? I see. Like, you're not really a hip hop head. So Chameleon acting. Say again.
Jaquan.
Oh, see how you had to look it up? You couldn't keep in the middle. It's cool. It's all right.
Either.
Yeah, cheat is cheat. It's all right. Cheat is cheat. I was gonna keep saying Jay somebody. They came to me sooner or later. But once again, that just shows the insignificance of his career. Besides that one song, the song was hot. You know what I mean? But
he equally came out with there were 900 other hot people.
I mean, what?
Chingy.
Okay, this current podcast is not about one hit wonders. We're definitely gonna do a hip hop joint. But before we do move off of Jay, whatever his name is, going back to my man Chameleon has really, transitioned out of music per se, and now he invests in startup companies. He's doing extremely well for himself. Like, kid has always been bright. Like, he understands that, you got to have a lot of ponies in the race to win it. And he's doing that real well. He was actually on Impact Theory podcast. And he was like, it was a great podcast and whatnot. Great show, to say the least. But anyway, we're not here to talk about Jay Quan. We're not here to talk about Chameleon. We're not here to talk about summer. We're not here to talk about 2020 with its funky ass. You need to get out of everybody's life. We're not here to talk about none of that.
What are we talking about?
I don't know. Before we get to what we're talking about, let's do a quick, because it's been a minute, right?
Yeah.
Bring me up to speed quickly with you. You get to one of your rants about, your needed care of, beauty. So
let's see. Mom got her hair done, got a really fly haircut. I'm not gonna lie. She even got a blue streak in the front of her hair, which my mom's gone all silver in the last year and a half. So it was kind of dope.
So she naturally went silver?
Yeah. She went.
Yeah, well, that happens when, she got you for a daughter. It's not time. It's just worrisome as kids.
I don't know what to say behind that. I think, if you ask my mother, I think she'll have a different outlook on that.
Jesus, she's gonna lie on your mother just like that. Like, kids kill me. They just be lying on their parents. Like, my mother thinks I'm an angel.
No, Lucifer, I'm an angel. I think she's.
Yeah, Lucifer was an angel too. Last time I checked, I digress. But anyway.
Right. But then it was for her birthday. So she got her hair done Wednesday. Her birthday was August 29th. Had a little party for her. I went and got my hair redone, recut, recolored, got my eyebrows done. Just celebrated my birthday last weekend.
Happy belated.
Thank you. Your girl turned 37 and had a little party at my house.
Pushing the big 4-0.
I know.
You're pushing the big 4-0.
But you know what? My family had a harder time really getting the number down. Like, my brother, I was teasing my brother because he always acts like junior dad, and he's like, "How old are you?" I was like, "The same as your kids." He's like, "Oh yeah." He's like, and then he turns to us like, "My baby's about to be 40." I'm like, "Yo, baby about to be 40." I'm like, "Dog, you didn't let me walk till I was like 7.
I'm so confused, but I'm gonna leave all of that alone. Okay.
They used to carry me everywhere because I was small, and I went everywhere with them. But they were like, "Oh, I'll just carry her." I'm like, "Dude, you didn't let me walk till I was almost 7. Like, dude, you talk about my baby's almost 40. I'm like, "What? Doesn't that make you feel old?"
Yeah, that's true. My brother was talking about, his age, and then my cousin Dino, he 60 something. Like, what the Jesus?
Yeah. Oh, speaking of my birthday, guess who forgot?
Who?
My dad, my actual living father.
Forgot your birthday? I had a great joke for that.
My sister.
Oh, Jesus. So how did that make you feel that people that you would assume that would have an inkling on your born day forgot?
I did feel some kind of way. I'm not gonna lie. I do a lot, and you know this to be personally true. I do a lot for my family. I really am very self-sacrificing. So, I felt some kind of way.
So not. But I gotta ask the question: just because you do a lot, does that obligate them? Because you know what happens. I'm gonna get somebody a quick jewel, right? Like, go get Extreme Ownership. Like, go check that book out. And so for me, and before I go off, like, you have a right to feel however you feel. But for me, it's just like, I don't hold nobody to nothing. Like, I'm at the point in my life, I hold nobody. Like, I hold you to nothing. You are who you are. So when people forget, I don't take it personal, because I don't know what happened to make them forget, or, I don't make my significant date, a must happen for them. I just don't. Like, it is what it is. Let me rock out. It's cool. But, as being, and I don't want to be sexist, but women, a little bit more emotional. Now, somebody's going to hear this and be like, "I'm not emotional." But, if you're not emotional, sweetheart, that means you're emotionally constipated. So, of course, you have, the right to feel how you feel. But, did you ask your father and sister why did they forget, what was going on in their lives?
The conversation that brought it back, like, I didn't say anything. Of course, my mother was upset because that's just my mother. My mother's, the pillager of right. So she was going to say something to them, and I was like, "Nah, just let it ride." Like I said, I did feel some kind of way. To answer your question, because I do so much for them, does that obligate them, to acknowledge my day? That's the one day that I only kind of demand
Who are you to be demanding anything?
Jesus let me come out on that day. That's the day that I kind of count as mine.
Jesus, Lord. People and they doggone self-righteousness. Like, what? I don't know. I'm a cynical old bastard,
clearly. But Monday I had to go. So my birthday was Saturday. I never made it to DMV because lines were just, outrageous that day. I literally made a mobile order for Starbucks and was in line 45 minutes. I was like, this is stupid. Hence why I kind of stopped going in the first place, other than the Black Lives Matter protesting. But I'm like, their service just is getting worse and worse. And the coffee to me isn't tasting as great as it used to, but I digress. I went to the DMV Monday and the lady was like, oh, you're 2 days late. And I'm like, well, normally the state of Ohio gives you 7 days. And with COVID, you guys said, don't worry about it. So she was like, well, you got to bring your title back. Well, the funny story is when I paid my car off, my title for whatever reason went to my dad's house, not my house, my dad's house. So I had to call my dad. I was like, oh, Dad, I need my title. And he was like, here, you've got to the and he was like, fuck. And then he starts screaming all these expletives. And he was really, really apologetic. You could tell he really, really, really felt bad. My poor dad. And then my sister didn't figure it out. Now, the funny story behind my sister is I was at work, I think Monday or Tuesday. And I was like, oh, I got to be here 16 hours. She brought me this whole buffet of food and snacks. And then was Wednesday night, I think she was just like, dog. I'm like, what? I'm thinking neighbors are fighting or something like that. She's like, dude, your birthday passed. She's like, I am the worst sister ever. And I was like, you said it. I didn't today. How about that? So, I mean, they're very apologetic. I think it's just life is kind of, everybody's off. Everybody's just off. I was working before my birthday, 11 days straight. 9 days straight. I'm on an 11-day stretch right now. So, the lines are just blurring and nobody knows what date it is. It's like Groundhog Day. You just get up and do the same thing. The kids go into virtual learning and Gav's been kind of struggling. Gav's school has been struggling with getting their kids on virtual learning. So it's just been a lot going on. So I didn't take it personal. It's just, it's an off year this year. Normally they're very good about it.
Yo, can I ask you a question?
Yo.
Before you jumped on the podcast, did you have some coffee or snort some Coke? Because you're effing speed balling. What the? Can you breathe?
Hold on. I'll answer the question for you. Hold on.
That's terrible, man. I don't maybe you okay. Maybe you might not want to sip another sip because if it's that strong to have you that wired.
Listen, and you know what coffee it is? It's the Jamaican coffee.
I'm not knocking I don't knock whatever it is. You could tell me it was, grounded up in heaven. I'm going to believe you. But the point, shit.
No. Chick-fil-A lemonade comes from heaven, not the coffee.
No. We had some Chick-fil-A. God, that shit was so tough. But nobody came here to listen to us talk about, Chick-fil-A, and sometimes their lemonade is Simply Lemonade always rocks out. Chick-fil-A is 1A, Simply Lemonade is 1. Flat out bottom line, I promise you. But I cut you off. I'm sorry, please, because you was on the roll. Let me not stop you from giving us a rundown from an episode of This Is Your Life.
Are you sure?
I don't know. I say, give me a brief joint was catch people up, and you went from, your mom's birthday to her getting her hair done, to you getting your hair done, to, I'm like, okay, I said a brief joint because it's supposed to be just a short joint. But, that's what happened when you be drinking coffee that the angels ground up and God blessed.
God bless the water.
Yeah, bless something. Even that, you tooted something before you got on, but we'll talk about that later.
Listen, you not going to have people thinking I'm doing coke. What we not going to do.
I mean, people don't know that I'm joking.
People take that shit. No, they don't.
So let me ask you, okay, so great, I'm going to hug me, and because it's a great segue, right? Great segue. So here we go. And we don't worry about, what's going on in my life. What's going on in my life is inconsequential. I'm alive, bottom line, flat out. Thank you, God. Appreciate you. So you said that, people take stuff seriously, or about people, what people think, right? And so this past Wednesday we had in a podcast, was entitled "What's the Beef?" And me and you kind of aired out our, I won't say dirty laundry. No, I'm not going to say that. Say again?
Our grievances for that day.
No, it was more so me. I'm not a politically correct dude. I don't do that. It was just me being me, and you just tolerate me being me. And so as I was joking about you doing coke whatever the case may be, you quick to be like, people believe. And then before I go down this rabbit hole, right? And we're going to try to make this a short rabbit hole because you want to, bring people up to speed, after we had that, what I like to think was an epic episode. So my thing is, why care? Because a person's opinion of you should never matter. That's wasted energy. So if I was to come on the podcast and say that you, and if they haven't listened to previous podcasts, or, people are going to believe what they want to believe. But the thing is, as long as you mention my name, I don't care what you believe. Right? As long as you unearth some shit and you take that and you run with it and you spin that into something more than what the actual event was, as long as you mention my name, like my memory is failing me right now, but I forgot who said that, all publicity is good publicity. Like if you're talking, like the thing is, I don't not want you talking. I need you talking about something. So if a person was going to think that you did a bumper to you got on, then okay, cool. Like it's not a problem. Just make sure you tune in next episode so I can talk about how I'm in rehab or fake rehab. I'm just like you got to. So what I'm trying to get
situation is that all the terminologies. That's the funny part. But I'm the one doing coke.
Because like it's not hard to like the terminology is what is. I'm a learned person. I like to read, right? I'm kind of learned. I know a little about a lot of shit, so I can get into any conversation and hold my own. And people look at me like I don't look like I know what I should know. Like what we're talking about is like we can talk about anything. What I can go in and at least make it sound good, so I don't be like, so far as me knowing terminology, I'm just a learned person. On top of that, I'm an author, right? So I've written about characters with problems, and so the more realistic you make those characters seem, the more believable they are, and the more vested the reader is into said character. That's a jewel for somebody that's an author, by the way. So back to the Beef Boy, right? So last podcast before this, I had a bone to pick. I not only picked the bone, I picked the whole carcass of a chicken. And, by the grace of God, we got some understanding. But after the fact, you actually, because you do the live on IG and you was telling people like, you did like a prerequisite to the podcast, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it was bound to happen. I don't want to misquote you, but you was like painting the picture. Me and DK is fine. And I look at that and I smirk hard as fuck. And the reason I'm smirking, like, if we wasn't fine, like, who cares? Like we're not that impactful yet that if me and you fell off and we're done, like, ain't nobody gonna lose no sleep. So I didn't understand the need for you to give this to paint this picture of perfection and spin this back into the rabbit hole of entrepreneurship. People are so worried about what others think and how they're being presented. Like, just execute on what you're supposed to be doing. Like, because people are going to think what they're going to like. What you think, what you know, is no concern of mine. I promise you. I'm not losing an ounce of sleep. I actually sleep better knowing that I get the vibrations. So I'm like, man, my name is somebody in my mouth. Like, may it taste like roses. You know what I mean? May it taste like the best filet mignon. May it taste like something that they enjoy. But I'm not going to try to check everybody. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. So there comes a point in time that you have to rebut some shit. Currently, Joe Budden, you know what I mean? Love myself some Joe Budden. I promise you. I promise you, I love Joe Budden, right? In my opinion, I could be wrong. I think he's in the midst of a smear campaign against his name for whatever reasons. I think he's going head to head with Spotify, and then all of a sudden, all these past things are starting to come to the light. And I'm thinking, like, Joe has been the most transparent person on the microphone. If he doesn't tell you, just go listen to his music. Like, you can know at least 90% of Joe Budden just by listening to his music. And so when the bullshit came out, he, of course, let me clean up the nonsense. But you shouldn't expect him to do that on a regular. And being as though we're nowhere near the stature of a Joe Budden, right? We're nowhere near that yet. Give us a minute, Joe. You're gonna be on your ass. I promise you that, right? I'm not worried about it because we're not even there yet. And me, my personality, I can't tell you how to walk your walk, talk your talk. I will never get there. There's too much to do to worry about stuff I can't control.
So it's the question, why did I say it?
Once again, I can't concern myself by why people do what they do. But if you want to share with the listeners why you did what you did, by all means, please, let them know.
I think because it was just a turn. Okay, like I'm used to you.
Oh, stop. Do me. a favor, right? Because, before you, I know the whole, right? So I need you to be uber transparent. We're not worrying about being politically correct. We're just letting the people know, like, you don't got to dress it up. It don't got to be cute. It can be your truth.
So we know each other. So I know, like, that wasn't a personal attack. Like, you were mad, yes. And it's not the first time. It's not going to, be the last that you were that upset. So it was the first time that we brought it to our listeners. And I never want anybody to see us in a bad light or be like, oh, he really is this or that, because it's like, it's really not. I mean, every day isn't, in any relationship, no matter what the relationship is, every day isn't great. And that wasn't a great day for us. And so the thing is, we had not been that kind of energy. And so like in the nature of like the episodes were either really, really goofy or really, really serious. And that one was kind of harsh to a certain degree. And so it was just kind of like, listen, don't feel any kind of way. Because I really didn't feel any kind of way about it. Because like I said at the end of the podcast, like, I don't have to show up. I don't have to. I could have done what I was supposed to be doing or whatever I was working on. That is what I could have been doing instead. So it just changes the energy that we have of the podcast. So I'm like, listen, everything's fine. Everything's good. We're good. The podcast is still rolling. We're all still in the land of good and plenty. Bless Jesus.
Right. I got to disagree. I don't think it necessarily changed the energy, because if you go back from not even to the first podcast, if you actually go back to the introduction about what the podcast is about, we've been stressing since day one that we're transparent. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to be transparent, trying to display, great times all the time. That's not being transparent. That's that. Like, and unless you got the second coming, you're the second coming of Christ. Like, come on, stop. Everybody say, like, and I think that's what's going to set us apart from everybody else, because they know, like, tuning in, you first of all, you don't know what to expect. You don't know what's going to come out my mouth. You don't know what you just don't know. Because I'm gonna be honest, man. We may discuss a topic, but we rarely go into like, oh, I'm gonna say this, you say that. We don't really plan. We give we have an idea of where we're going to, and then we go from there. You know what I mean? But no, I think I think more people are not. I can't tell people how to run their house. I can't tell people how to do their podcast. I can't tell people how to, conduct their business. But what I can tell people is, if you're going to say you're transparent, you just can't give a rosy picture all the time. And I don't think the energy was bad. I don't think it was harsh. Like I said what's the beef? Like I admit that I stand on every word I said. Like you want something different, then you got to do something different. If you want a better life, you got to make some sacrifices. Like you can't be partially in it. I'm not saying that's what you were doing. I was, me going where I was going during that time was actually, it was so moved off of you that I was actually trying to, hopefully by the grace of God, get the listeners to understand. And, being an entrepreneur is not for everybody. It's not. Being, ready to take your life to the next level is not. Some people are just really happy 9 to 5 with it. Some people is really happy, crossing the dots and crossing your T's and dotting your I's in their relationships with, whether it be with their spouses, whether it be with their kids, whether it be with, whomever. They're just happy to go through the motions. And so if you really peel the onion back of our previous podcast, like if you want more, no matter what aspect of your life that you want more, then you got to do something different. And then you got to be willing to sacrifice something. And so I didn't feel a certain way that you went. I just thought it was wasted. Like you don't got to, but I understand that's how you rock, how you roll. And to you, and I could be wrong, and you have all right to correct me. To you, the visual matters to you. To me, like what are we talking about? Like after I had my back and forth with you, I immediately jumped into my own bag and talked about my shortcomings. I talked about how I didn't fully recover from Bell palsy. I talked about how I need dental work. And that's one of the main reasons, because I've been doing this shit 10 years. Like I ain't been on the mic 10 years, but I've been within the public industry. I've been helped a who's who of people that would surprise you. So I've been at this for 10 years and I should have been so further along, but I was in my own way. Right. So there's no way I was supposedly going to dress you up and down and then not go into my own bag. Right. Then it would have been to me, then now that's bad energy. That's that bad bullshit. Like, he carried it. But if a person continued to listen to podcasts, they would have heard that, and I'd move off of you per se and went into myself. And I talked about all my shortcomings. Like, you listen to the podcast, like, we can't get much more transparent. There's other things that's going to come to light. There's other things that, I'm going to talk about. But in doing so, in the meantime, between time, I really hope, and I'm not saying this for soundbite. That's not what I'm doing. I really hope to help somebody. Because if you're going to take the time out to listen, because time is your most valuable asset. If you're going to take the time out to listen, let me give you a reason. Let me give you like, okay, I'm coming back. I may not listen to the whole podcast, and if you don't, shame on you. But I'm coming back because I got something. And that's all I'm trying to do. I don't know because we never discussed what our real agenda was besides what we stated. We have other things underneath what we state our, I guess, goal is, with what our mission statement is. But my thing is, I want to give somebody something. By nature, I'm a helpful person. By nature, I will sacrifice whatever so whomever can go forward. Right? Like, not a problem. I'll say this, and I'll definitely step off my soapbox, and the soapbox is kind of short because I got short legs, right? I got my mom working on a project. She had presented something to me and Nikki that we was like, whoa, and we didn't ask her, and they had to do something with health, losing weight. And she's like, I want to eat better, I want to lose weight. And then she did this whole chart about what to eat, what time to eat. Like, okay. And when she presented it, she just recently had a birthday. She just recently turned 11. She's 10. And I'm not saying this, put my daughter on a pedestal. I'm not doing it. I promise you I'm not. But you got to recognize greatness when greatness is breathing the same air as you. Like, when it was like, on top of that was a PowerPoint joint. Like, and she had a detail, and then she went to, like, she was on some real businesswoman shit at 10 years old. And I'm looking like, there's a line in the Endgame Avengers when Tony Stark, and bear with me for a second, right? He had snapped the doggone fingers. He wiped out Thanos and all the boogeyman that came with Thanos. And of course, he was just a mere man. So of course, by him snapping his fingers, the Infinity Stones was killing his monkey ass. So he was laying up against a rock. Everybody came over. The people that was nearest and dear to him came over to pay their last respects. And then Pepper, which was his wife at the time, because he did have a daughter, she told him, I walked, the first time I seen the movie, I walked out because, first of all, I'm uber emotional. Second of all, I'm such a Marvel comic book head. I've been there way before, this whole MCU movie thing. I've been there way, like, I got my ass whipped. Check the previous podcast. I got my ass whipped behind the Incredible Hulk comic book, right? So you know how much I love comic books. So anyway, his wife told him, like, you can rest now, Tony. Like, because his whole thing was, I got to make sure that the earth is safe. I have to make sure that the earth is safe. And that's what kept him going. And so in his final moment, she told him that you did the wrong, you did the right thing. You can rest now. So you so DK, why are you sharing this? I'm sharing that because when my daughter came with that PowerPoint, I'm like, if I was the dad of mom, good, she gonna be great. And so, like, she's going to be great. And then when she's not walking in her greatness, when she's acting, don't get me wrong, I give her room to be a kid. But when I ask her to do something that I know she's capable of, and she bullshitting, if I'm going to jump on her ass and put my dog on, I'm going to hold her to task. Like, me talking crazy to Karen is the least bit of my concerns. Me talking crazy to my wife is the least bit of my concerns. Me talking crazy to my little brother is like, if I'm going to talk to my heart, literally my heart, like, yeah. So once again, don't take what I did, don't take what I said as me being, it wasn't like, if you love a person, love them enough to go ahead and paint that stroke of you fucking up.
Then the thing of it is, it wasn't like I put the video out to, excuse me, like give a retraction or form a rebuttal. I mean, we've long been past that. I mean, we've moved on, gone on to different things. That wasn't the situation. It was more so, I guess, feeling like buffering for the listeners. Because like you said, I care about the visual of it. I care about not so much what people think, but like I said, I've just felt like the energy was changing. And, and like you said, I mean, we did in the trailer say, we're not for the thin skin, but I think that was the hardest. Like, yes, I've gone on my DK rants and, all those kind of things, but it was just different. I just felt like the vibe was different. Not in a bad way, never in a bad way, but it was just different. That was all.
Okay. I got you. When I put my head on the pillow and whatnot, because I close my eyes, I will try to understand. But, right about now, I got you. But let me give somebody and we'll move off, right? Look, so we're good. It's nothing. Let me take it back. I shouldn't even have to say that we were good. There was nothing wrong in the first place. It just wasn't. Like, you're going to think what you're going to think irregardless. But let me share this with y'all. Like, I love my old man. God bless, rest. You know what I mean? Him, wherever he's at, wherever he's, I'm not talking about heaven or hell, like, because I'm pretty sure my father's out bothering somebody. It's the type of dude he is. Like, he's just got to be so into something. So, you know what I mean? He's bothering somebody right now as we speak. I love my old man, but if I could choose who could I have as a father, and I'm going somewhere with this, so stay with me, I would choose Joe Jackson. Like, I love, because my father's name is DK Walker, right? Like, that's not my name. I chose that name to honor him. We're getting into more of that later, right? But I choose Joe Jackson. Like, why would you choose Joe? Like, Joe ain't even let his doggone kids have a childhood. Okay, cool, but his kids was, at least one was a billionaire. So my thing is, if you're going to have somebody in your life to make sure that you do what you said you was going to do, and then the ends justify the means, by all means, talk crazy to me. By all means, call me out of my bullshit. By all means, help me get my life. By all means, right? So I don't, like, once again, moving forward, will I do that again? Nah, I'm not. It will be like, once you do that, and then if something comes back and it's still short, then that lets you know there's no more to say. They are who they are, right? But, so it is what it is, man. We good, we all right. Ain't nothing to trip about. So, I'm pretty sure, maybe some of your coworkers heard it, your girlfriends, maybe some family members.
They have it.
But that's kind of crazy because, those are your staunch supporters. Those are the people that
they're behind. The one who got sick at my house, who the whole beef kind of situation came up about, she is.
Stop. That it did not come up about her. Nothing. I don't know her. Nothing to do with her. Had to do with you. I'm sorry. We were working together last night, and I was like, "Did you listen to the new podcast?" And she's like, "No, I'm behind like 2," because she was in the middle of, I think, provide what you can require. Can you provide what you require? Oh, she might be 3 back, but anyway.
Yeah. So she's not that far behind, and we're going to be working tonight, so I'm sure she'll catch up because she's one of those type that likes to sit down, like divulge like 4 of them at a time. She don't like to she can't wait. She's that kid that can't wait for next week, so she likes to let them build up because then she can sit still and then listens to everything at once. So, nobody's really said anything to me. I mean, because most people, that know us, again, it's not anything new. We've had these conversations before. We've gone the back and forth. My household, your household, her bits and pieces of us going back and forth on the phone before. So, it's not anything uncommon. So they're fine.
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. My wife actually took exception. Like, Nikki Cool, she don't support the podcast. Is that grounds for divorce? I don't know. We'll talk about that later. But now she supports in other ways, but she ain't sitting. Well, in her defense, she's not a podcast person. It is what it is. It's quite all right. My thing is, do not support me when I blow up. Do I know you? You look familiar.
Hush your face. Game recognized.
Why is my daughter calling you mommy? Who's this lady?
Silly.
I'm being honest.
Silly.
I am dead ass like 2 cheeks in a thong. I promise you. But she overheard the podcast because she was in her office, which is next door. To my man cave / office. And then she went upstairs and she still could hear. And so I get upstairs and of course, she whatever. And I'm like, I look at her like, So I get something to eat. I grab the remote. Cut the game on, whatever. And then she was like, y'all all right? I'm like, what you mean we all right? Like, that was, you kind of, how's that? And I'm looking at her like, and then she's like, who you married, right? Like, I'm not understanding how you gonna act. Like, you act like you never heard these words. Now, granted, I got to sleep with an eye open. Granted, I get my pussy pass revolve.
Listen, nobody understood what you just said because you were laughing. All I heard was pussy.
Yeah, well, pussy pass. My pussy privileges, I get that revoked. Granted that she'll cook dinner, but it ain't for me. So there's consequences of being me. There's consequences of, I promise you. But I would not be nobody else because I love the fuck out of me.
This is true. Behavior modification would be a failure for you.
But why you want to modify, you know what I mean? I'm not going to say perfect, but, you know, such a likable person. And I'm not talking about somebody else liking me. I'm talking about me liking me. So why would he even modify that? Why would I do that?
You wouldn't.
I would, you know, scold the person that was suggested. Have you lost your mind?
Yeah.
It takes a lot of dysfunction to make me.
I was gonna say it takes a lot of work to get to these places, but I like your version of yourself.
Like once again, I'm keeping the book. It takes a lot of dysfunction to
but
like
that's a
to make like
that's
you like
right there.
See, mean. Hold up, stop.
I wouldn't say
Go ahead, talk to people about something because I don't got it. That's what happened when you finally clean your office up. Like I clean my office up and it's all pristine. It looks all pristine. I don't got a pen on my desk to save my life, but I do got my phone right here, which I should have cut off, but I didn't. But I'm gonna make that for sure.
We're gonna start finding you for that.
You need to find me for a lot of shit, and that is definitely what the fuck is that? Somebody call my mama.
But the thing of it is, what I was gonna say is, when you get to the place where you love you. You have to take the good, the bad, and the ugly. And yes, it's a movie, I'm well aware. But you have to enjoy all the parts of it because it gets you to where you are. We said this before in another podcast, is that pain is a part of growth. And if you won't go through the pain, you're not going to grow.
Facts.
So if you don't take all the parts of you, and you have to take all the parts that make you, and you have to love all of them, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and fuse them into, you know, who God is truly making you to be. And as, you know, you grow through the pain, you become a better version of yourself, or at least you should be. I can't say that for everybody.
Sorry to put a pause in that great thought of yours. What was it that we just said it should be a t-shirt?
It took a lot of dysfunction to make me.
Mm-hmm. Keep talking. Go ahead, continue, please.
No, I was waiting for you to ask me the rest of it. My bad.
It takes a lot of dysfunctional parts to make me. That's all I said.
Yeah. Yep.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You know, the thing that I love about my birthday is that, you know, people are like, oh, January to January, you know, oh, I'm going to be a new me. And I'm like, I really don't consider, you know, January to be my quote unquote new start. I count my birthday to birthday. And so, you know, I, excuse me, if you were following me on social media, you saw that I put this little post out about, you know, I really did some great reflection from the 11th and the 12th, and 12th as 12th became the 13th, and really had some really honest conversations with God about who I am and, you know, things that I struggle with. And, you know, kind of the vibe for this year for me has been, my growth point has kind of been, I should say my growth pain should be not letting my emotions make the decisions for me. And we do things, especially as women, emotionally so quickly, or we get upset and we do something out of anger. And the thing is, when you do things like that, you can't take it back. You can't go back and change certain events. But if you can find the calm in the irrationalness of your emotions, you know, you kind of can, you know, really see where the trajectory goes. And so, you know, as I'm kind of, you know, as I'm growing through some things, I think this next year for me is going to be, God's really going to work on, as I'm coming out of my emotional status, God's really going to work with me about comparison being the thief of joy. You know, I shared with you, DK, on my birthday, like, this is where I want us to be. This is where I'm going. This is what I'm shooting for as far as our vision board goes for our businesses. And, you know, you were like, whoa, I didn't know that was, you know, things that you had. And I was like, this is what I pray about. This is what I seek God about. This is where, you know, I'm headed. You know, we have to lay some concrete plans to get there. But I was just like, you know, we say this a lot, like, we'll look at numbers, we'll look at this, we'll look at that. And we were like, man, I wish we were this. And man, we wish we were that. And, you know, and so it's kind of like not comparing us to anybody else, but it's just kind of trying to be content with where we are with the work that we do and still push forward.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, like I think, and that was well said, by the way. Yeah, my thing is, you gotta, and this is very, you know, this saying is not new, but it's like well deserved. You gotta celebrate the small wins, but the thing is, don't celebrate the small wins forever long after the moment has passed. Celebrate the small wins because it gives you, it re-energizes you, because the journey is continuous. Actually, there's no final. Entrepreneurs know this, right? And in life, not only speaking about, you know, being an entrepreneur, but just in life in general. And it's going to sound harsh, but it's the truth, right? Your final destination, you'll reach it when you die. Mm-hmm. Like, so take, because the journey is, when you were born, that was day one of your journey. And so the last day of your journey is the day that you die. So in between, celebrate the small wins, but don't let that celebration in the moment has long passed and you still celebrating, right? And once again, I'm not even talking about being an entrepreneur. I'm talking about life shit, right? Like, okay, so he's all over the place. I didn't take my medicine. Don't even worry about it. Look, so like you really got to hone in on like, okay, this happened. I'm going to have a moment. And then after I have that moment, I want more and even if you don't want more, right? I think everybody should want more of something. That's just me personally. I think a lot of people do a lot of complaining about their life. Like, my life sucks. My life is in a rut. Woe is me. Why everything happens to me. Whoa, man, somebody take the pacifier, the baby mouth, and stick it into this grown ass man mouth, or stick it into this grown ass woman mouth, but stick it in somebody's mouth, right? Because like you're complaining, you're whining, but you're not doing anything about the situation. Like, okay, like if you're just going like, okay, life is undefeated. I promise you, life is $1 billion. Like you're not going to life in the end. Life is going to win. Like, because there's death. That's why life always win. If you wonder about what the fuck I'm talking about, like that's why life always win. But before life gets its final victory over you, there's a lot of great wins in the meantime to celebrate. But you can't do that if you always complaining about every day-to-day bullshit of your life. Like, you got to realize who you are. You got to realize that, everybody is an author, whether they wrote a book or not. Everybody's an author. Every day is a blank page, and the way that you lived your life is how you stroking your pen. And I ain't talking about people that practices masturbation all day. I'm not talking about those people. I'm not talking about myself. I'm not at all. But what I'm saying is the way that you live your life, the way you writing, and that day is a canvas. Most people start the day off being gratitude, and as well, everybody should when whether you believe in God or not, no matter what your religion is, like just be thankful that you got one more day. Because ain't nothing promised. Have you seen how many people that we lost in 2020, stars and then family members and just like, stuff we take for granted, right? You got to be thankful. And I know it's kind of hard to be thankful with all the bullshit that's going on. But if you can hear my voice, if you can hear Karen's voice, if you can hear your kids calling you, right? That alone is enough to be thankful. And that should give you your start in celebrating the small wins, because the big defeat is coming. The inevitable defeat is coming. What are you going to do in the meantime?
And that's a question people have to answer, ask themselves. The What's the Beef episode does not bother me. Putting us out there doesn't bother me. I will always defend, us, our business, and what we stand for, and how we move, because we have a vision, we have a plan, and everybody's isn't going to be, the same. And so, and I understand that. And other people, are going to, when they're kind of on their, what we say between you and I, when they on their DK and KK shit, when you really, really are getting to where you want to be, and you can support, start celebrating the wins, and you can start supporting other people and not have it interfere with, your lane. Like me supporting, let's just say, because we already mentioned Joe Budden, us supporting Joe Budden doesn't take anything from us.
Oh, not in the least bit. Like, and that's the thing. Like,
helps us shoot for a better, platform. It shoots for us to be better. Us supporting ET and CJ, that doesn't take any shine from us. They've already, and both of them have been doing it longer than we have. But it gives us a platform and a way to say, okay, I like what they do. This is what we need to implement. I like what they do. This is where we shoot better. But it doesn't take away from us. And so the thing with What's the Beef is I never want anybody to be like, oh, they're this, they're that. That's not it. It's just that it was it really was a learning moment for more so our listeners than us. And then for them just to see how we operate.
Facts on facts on facts. And then if anybody has, the pleasure to, like anybody knows, I'm a huge ET fan. I am. I've seen him a couple of times. I've met, I've met him at a book signing. We took a pic, whatever the case may be. I met Carl. Actually, way before they blew up to where they at now. They was down in Charlotte. Me and my little brother Kenny, we had actually took the trip down. The 6-hour drive down to Charlotte to actually see them. And I was getting my book signed and taking a picture with E. And I come back and, Carl was like, putting away the video equipment, and him and Kenny sitting there chopping it up. And so we had like a 10-15 minute conversation with, way before where they at right now. They ain't even had a podcast at the time. That's how long ago this was. They did not have a podcast. And so they was chopping it up. I'm like, cool. And so we just talking family stuff. Wasn't nothing deep, right? And I told myself, I wanted to meet CJ. And so when they came about, I want to say 2 years, gotta be 2 years, right? Maybe 2. Yeah, 2. Okay. Maybe 2, maybe. Yeah. 2 years ago, they came to the DMV area and I said, I'm going to meet CJ, right? And CJ is the brains. He's like the mad scientist. He's like the gorilla. He's like a lot of things and whatnot, right? And if you was to listen to his whole persona, like, talking about me being bad, digging in somebody's ass. If you just listen to when they say go get the bucket, like he always talking about how he's not even allowed in staff meetings because he just talk crazy to everybody if they're not producing. So maybe last week that was me doing my, poor impersonation of CJ, right? So you would think that he's this monster of a guy when you meet him. You would think that, right? And so I was sitting, I didn't do, cause they got the, the VIP where you go see the regular joint. The VIP, they have like pretty much a small intimate session, when they really break down what they gave you in the general admission joint. And so they really give you, how shit really works, how to get your life to the next level, far as personal development. And then if they start to incorporate more things far as, real estate, they're into solar panels, and it's like, matter of fact, y'all need to cut the check because I'm bigging y'all ass up. By the way, if anybody listens to this podcast and they rock with ETA, the whole squad, tell them to cut the check because I'm bigging them up. It's my CJ story, right? So it's cool. If you don't cut me a check, shout me out on your podcast. Either way, work the shit out. So I get to the joint. I'm sitting in general mission, and then and Inky was there, and that's another reason I love myself some Inky. Like Inky is like the truth. Like I love E, right? E is that standard, you know what I mean? But like if E is 1, then Inky is like 1A, a strong 1A. Like Inky Johnson gets you going. Like, stop. Matter of fact, you can stop listening to my voice right now. If you don't know who Inky Johnson is, if you're rocking on IG or just Google Inky Johnson and just catch anything he talking about and prepare to have your life change. That's how dope and strong this dude is in his doggone space. But back to my CJ story. So long story short, Inky was on stage killing it. We all standing up. We all feeling the moment. And they're moving far as E, CJ, and then they're moving throughout the crowd. I'm not sure what they were doing. It was none of my concern. So I turned around like, bam, there goes CJ right there, right? So it was loud in front of me, but behind me, you can actually hear regular conversation. So I actually called them over, told them, thank you for the podcast. Thank you for doing what you're doing, man. You rock. Everything you're doing is dope. Appreciate you, right? And so if you would listen to him on the podcast, you would think he was just monster. Like, no disrespect, CJ Marshmallow. Tell him I said it. DK, the lovable asshole. When I say, and I don't mean marshmallow as in disrespectful, like he's the kindest guy that you can meet. Because I told him what you're doing is phenomenal. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I meant that, right? Like, actually, because what they're doing is the reason why what we're doing. Before, so we're doing that because of, right? So he went about his business. I turned back to finish catching my man Inky, and then I feel a tap on my shoulder. It's CJ. And he say, bruh, thank you so much. Like, as much as you say I do for you, what you said to me touched my heart. And I ain't say nothing deep. I just thanked him. And so, like I said, he's straight marshmallow. He do what he needs to do far as to get what he needs done. But far as him as a person can do. So like my co-host was saying, just because we big people up, just because we shout people out, like we're so comfortable in our skin. We want like, y'all don't understand, man. Everybody can win. The thing is, we all may go about it differently. I'm not saying, my conduct last week is the way everybody should go, right? Because I promise you, I was probably doing my poor person, CJ impersonation, not a problem. But what I'm saying is, you got to find out what works for you so you can get your wins. But you got to, it's trial and error. But if you just keep, getting along to go along or going along to getting along, you'll never go through your trial and error, and your days will start to run, into one another. You won't be able to tell the days of the date. You think that Kern's father and her sister forgot her birth dates. That's minuscule in the grand scheme of things of your life. Like, you can blame you not knowing the days on COVID and us being pretty much on house arrest. You can blame that, but what happens because you live your life day to day and you're not doing anything to change it. That's reason in itself. Like, what's the day? I don't even know what the day is because you're not doing anything to make the day outstanding. You're not doing anything to remember the day. You're not marking your day. And you wonder why your life suck.
Gotta conquer the day. You gotta conquer and seize the day. Well, it is that time, people. You guys could have been anywhere, but you choose week after week, Wednesday after Wednesday, every Wednesday, 7 o'clock to rock with us. This is the Love Is Podcast. This is where we go send my baby to the mean man who yelled at me last week on air.
Yeah, I believe that bullshit.
Listen,
you couldn't even finish that with a straight face. Like,
I couldn't.
Yeah, I believe that bullshit if you want to. Like, it's what it is. Like, okay, like before she finished, you know what I mean, passing the joint on me. Like, I get talked to just as crazy. Y'all don't understand. If y'all only knew, like, I was just balls enough to go to the because I sent the link to my man, to my little brother Kenny, and I was like, he say, this what Kenny asked me. He said that was a strategic, because man, I promise you I love my little brother because he gets me, right? He like few people get me. That list is real short. He definitely gets me. He say that was a strategic chess move you did by bringing that to the podcast. But so he asked me, so what if the gamble would have failed and she would like curse you out and left you? I'm like, you know, that could have happened. That could have happened. He was like, so how many times you going on that rabbit hole? Like, I'm not going to chance it too much. Like that's a wrap. I promise you, I'm not going to chance it. That may be a once in a lifetime thing and whatnot. Like her, let me get off. Like, you know what I mean? But on the cool, that probably was some payback from, you know, all the shit she had me eat. So yeah, we even now. Think about it on Jada and Will shit. We even now. We ain't no more August in our life.
No more entanglements. Yeah,
no more entanglements. At least no more entanglements on air.
Right.
If we're gonna have some entanglements, it's gonna be behind closed doors.
Like normal people.
Right. And if I go too far, I send some roses. You know what I mean? Okay. Definitely not red. That's an inside joke.
We all know I hate them.
Inside joke. We're gonna leave that alone. Anyway, you wanna pass this off so I can go ahead and
close out.
Do my
Yes.
My Love Jones of the day.
Yeah. Of course, guys, you know, we love you. We love sharing our life with you. We love sharing, you know, all the parts of us and, you know, really getting the feedback from you guys. You guys have really, really been rocking with us. You guys send us the dopest messages online. Oh my God. What? I feel like I'm dealing with one of my kids. What?
What the hell? Look, we're forgetting to do something. We're forgetting. And I'm mad at you because, like, that's not my department. See, we about to have Beef 3, goddammit, like a DVD, like a rap DVD from back in the day.
Oh, Lord. What?
Now, real talk, you dropped the ball. Let me tell you how you dropped the ball, right? I'm going to tell you. Because we've been trying so hard to get this elusive number, and we got it. And we ain't even thank the people for reaching this elusive number.
You didn't even let me finish.
You was not going.
You don't know. You assumed I wasn't going to go there.
Put that on something that you love.
My mama, my kids.
Oh, Jesus. You don't like them
My
people.
birthday.
You don't like them.
I put it on my birthday. How about that?
Oh, Jesus.
I put it on the Tesla.
Well, no matter how beautiful the lips is, a lie still gonna stumble out. Anyway, go ahead, man.
God. Of all the people, who do I lie to? To you? Because you know you crazy. Lie to you, I might as well just go ahead and no. Lying to you, I have a higher chance of just going ahead and selling my soul to the devil that I don't own.
Right. You can't sell something that's not yours.
Right. Before I lie to you, that's the lengths I would go.
Well, good. Cool. Not a problem.
I would literally go draw the star in my driveway and lay on it.
See, earlier you was talking about how did I know the lingo about Coke. So I got to ask you, how do you know how to do the manifestation to have Lucifer sitting on your bed when you come home from work?
Because I've been watching Lucifer on Netflix.
See, you got to be careful letting your spirit. Like I can't get down.
Trust me. And I wasn't as I was like, I'm not gonna watch it, but they've been watching at work, so I've been watching little bits and pieces. But back to what I was saying before, he, you know, wasn't gonna let me do my thing. Let me do my thing. But again, you guys rock with us week after week, and we really, 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 really appreciate it. And the love you give us on social media is outstanding. The comments on YouTube, we see them. You guys are really, 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 you know, bringing your girl's voice to places my feet have yet to travel. And the elusive number that he is alluding to was, I, for my birthday, said, you know, I really didn't want anything. You know, people were putting my Cash App out for me, which I was like, that's kind of weird, but whatever. Which we'll talk on the next podcast about my Cash App too. Actually, no, I think about that. But I didn't want really anything monetarily for my birthday. I wanted us to hit, drum roll, DK,
I'm not. My
You're not
lips
gonna
ain't
do it?
designed
Okay.
to.
Was to hit 500 downloads, and we actually surpassed that the other day. So thank you. The 500 mark. That was kind of like one of our big check marks. The first one obviously was 100, but then of course the one that we were shooting for was 500, and you guys do it so quickly. I mean, one weekend we were close to 400, and then 2 weeks later we were trying to get to 400, and now we're at 500. So obviously the next goal, obviously is 1,000, but honestly, of course, it's 1 million views. We want to be, verified and checkmarked and all those good things that come with, you guys rocking with us. So thank you. You can always find us in the show notes if you want to follow us, question us, comment, text us. All that is in the show notes. But this is the part where I pass my baby off to Miss DK Walker for the Daily Love Jones.
Please remain seated. There's no need to stand and applaud my greatness. No need at all. No, all jokes aside, man. Real life, thank you. Appreciate you. Like, so most people will hear and be like, well, we reach 500 in a week, right? But we keep trying to tell people we're organic. We've yet to run one ad. We've yet to, we might do a little promo on IG. Like we might, and then you have to understand what that, unless your numbers, as far as your algorithm numbers are way up, like limited people are going to see that. We might do something on Facebook, right? But we've yet to run one ad. We've yet to go on other people's podcasts that has a bigger listening audience and then have them come check us out on there. We haven't done none of that. So when I say we got to this 500 organically, like that means so much to us, right? I mean, that means a lot. That means there's 500 people that's been heard my voice. There's 500 people has been set through, an episode. Even if they didn't complete it, they set through it, and hopefully they was either entertained or educated. But by the grace of God, they got something from the episode. So thank you greatly from the bottom of our hearts. Appreciate that and appreciate you, right? So long story short, people, my Love Jones for the day is, and that was my, me being my gratitude, my moment. What is it that you want? Like, I really want you to ask yourself that question. Like, don't put no parameters on it. Don't put no, contingencies on it. Don't put nothing on it. Just flat out ask yourself. Matter of fact, write it down. I want you to write down, what is it specifically that you want? And be honest. I need you to be uber transparent, and I need you to be honest, right? Because if 2020 hasn't taught us anything, it's teaching us we should no longer take this precious thing called life for granted. So after you honestly write down, what is it that you want? I want you, for the rest of your life, go get it. Bottom line, flat out, go get it. And once again, I said this earlier, it doesn't have to be being an entrepreneur. Doesn't, right? It could just simply be, I want to be a better husband to my wife. It can simply be, I want to be a better son to, my parents. It could simply be, I just want to be the best version of myself. Whatever it is, I want you to spend the rest of your life going after it. No matter what, because life is going to, once you declare whatever it is that you want, life is going to throw so many roadblocks, so many obstacles. And let me tell you something about obstacles. Once obstacles are placed in your life, obstacles are not placed in your life to deter you, pardon me. Obstacles is not placed in your life to stop you. Obstacle is not placed in your life to make you give up. Obstacles is placed in your life so you can get stronger, to overcome it, to continue your journey. Yeah, so Karen, I'm not stopping for you to come in. No, I'm just, I want that to resonate with somebody, right? Because somebody right now has a bunch of obstacles, and the way they're viewing those obstacles makes them want to quit, because they're looking at their life that these things have been placed here so I can quit, so I can give up, so I can stop. But they don't understand, if they just change their mentality, if they just change their viewpoint, those things have been put in your life so you can get stronger. Because if you was to continue your life on your journey to where you said you wanted to go to, you would never make that, because you're not strong enough. Because soon something comes, you're going to stop. As soon as a hiccup, you're going to burp the baby and lay down with the baby. You're done, right? So do yourself a favor, man. Like whatever it is that you want out of life, go get it. Don't wait on nobody. Don't depend on nobody. It's your life. The operative word is your life. Go get it and look for the obstacles. Welcome the hardships. Welcome that in your life. And I promise you, you'll get there. You'll be a better person because of it. You'll be a stronger person because of it, because you look for the things that's supposed to get you in your way and you conquered them. Okay, Karen, I'm done.
I was reading it. This is your girl, the Thorny Chic, Karen KK Rose. This is the Love Is Podcast alongside my co-host, the lovable asshole, DK Walker. DK.
Yes.
Tell the people bye-bye.
Hey, man. Peace.
We out.
Y'all take care. We out.
This episode of the Love Is Podcast has ended. But please be sure to subscribe for more great content on sex, entrepreneurship, life, love, and how to get through the BS of it all. And don't forget to rate and leave a review so we can continue to bring more of that thorny chick, Karen KK Rose. And, dare I say, the lovable a-hole, Mr. DK Walker. See you on the